Okay, so this is stanza 2 for Charge of the Light Brigade. Notice how this one starts with a repetition from stanza 1. So we get this repetition of this imperative, which is a command, forward the Light Brigade. So there's that, the use of repetition, like they're not giving up. And the speech marks tell us that this is like maybe the military commander, someone giving orders, and the fact that there's no question about they're not gonna not follow that order. So the next thing that I would probably focus on is this: was there a man dismayed? I would use my vocabulary colour and underline or highlight dismayed. We get this tone of bravery because I think this is rhetorical. Was there a man that stopped and was like, what are we doing? No. Was there a man who was like, this is a really bad idea? No, there wasn't. And that's the point. And I think it's rhetorical because the intention of this whole poem is to say that soldiers are brave, they trust their commander, they follow orders, and that's what makes them great. And you can argue with that as a reader, but the intention of the poet is definitely there in that rhetorical question, because he answers his own question, not though the soldiers knew someone had blundered. So here's that hint, here's us being told in this euphemism, which is vocabulary, but it's like a polite way of saying someone messed up. Blundered is quite a light way of saying someone made a decision that cost hundreds of lives, and not in a easy, quick way either. It was brutal. And interesting that we get this structural use of the colon as well. This stop. Someone had blundered. That colon makes us stop as a reader. Like, oh my God, what did they do? How did they react? How did they get through that? Like, this is horrendous. But look at the list that comes after it. Look how it emphasizes that soldiers just pushed through and didn't think about it. We get this anaphora, which is structure, repetition of the beginning. There's not to make a reply. There's not to reason why. There's but to do and die. So we get this there's. And this repetition is the soldiers didn't speak up. They didn't argue back. They didn't question it. They just take the order and obey. And I think the intention here is to celebrate that attitude of soldiers, that it's a good thing. And I think it's heightened a lot more here with the alliteration do and die. Look at the monosyllabic words. Monosyllabic means one syllable. And it means that their life is meant to be very simple. You do it, you get on with it, and you move forward. And I think it's heightened with the D's here. Look at this: do, die, death. So the soldiers didn't question it. It's like ritual, isn't it? It's almost like it's drummed into them. This anaphora kind of reflects or infers that ritualistic soldiers obey the rules, they do as they're told, they get on with it, they don't question it. And then we get the repetition of the refrain and the metaphor at the end. They're not going to question it. They are going to go into this inescapable valley of death, and they're all going to do it together.